What dealer fees do you need to watch out for when shopping for a car? That's what we're going to find out. Welcome to Car Up Corner, where we help you, the consumer, master the process of car buying and car ownership. For this video, I'm going to share the top 10 dealer fees that you need to watch out for when shopping for a vehicle. And I'm also going to share which fees are mandatory that are normal to pay for anytime you buy a vehicle from a dealership. So to learn everything there is to know about dealer fees, make sure to stick around until the end of this video. And if you enjoy and get value out of this video, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notifications. I post 2 videos a week, always straight to the point, valuable car buying advice designed to help you, the consumer. And a huge thanks to OMVIC, Ontario's vehicle sales regulator, for sponsoring a portion of this video. So we'll start this video off with the mandatory fees, which are normal to pay for anytime you buy a vehicle from a dealer. Now, of course, there is a little bit of variation depending on where you're located, but for the most part, the majority of buyers, anytime they buy a vehicle from a dealer, will have to pay some sort of licensing or registration fee, as well as your sales tax on top of the normal vehicle price. Paying a licensing or registration fee as well as your sales tax is normal regardless of whether you buy a new or a used vehicle. There are some additional fees, however, which are normal for brand new vehicles. The main one being your delivery and destination fee, also known as freight and PDI. This is a normal charge found on every single brand new vehicle that you need to pay on top of a vehicle's normal MSRP. And on top of your delivery and destination, title or licensing fee, as well as your sales tax, you might also sometimes encounter a few small levies, such as here in Ontario where we have a $10 OMVIC fee. But really, for the most part, these are the only charges which you'll universally find across the board. When it comes to almost every single additional dealer fee, you can either negotiate it out of the price, or you can find a dealership that doesn't charge it in the first place. Now, it's important to understand that when it comes to dealer charges, there are generally 2 types. You have actual dealer fees, which are found as a line item on the price of the vehicle, and you also have dealer products, which are typically add-ons, which the dealership may require you to pay for. When a dealership requires you to purchase additional products and add-ons as part of the sale, this is known as tied selling, because the price of the vehicle is tied to the purchase of additional products which you might not have originally intended to buy. Although tied selling is technically not illegal, it has become increasingly common over the past couple of years as a result of the ongoing car shortage, as just another method that some dealers might use in order to make more money on the sale. So we'll start going through some of the top 10 dealer charges, starting with one of the biggest ones, which is the market adjustment fee or the dealer markup. A market adjustment fee is simply a profit markup which some dealers might add to the MSRP of a new vehicle, and this is something that became increasingly common, especially in the United States, throughout the car shortage. Shockingly, it became very common to encounter dealers adding a few $1,000s and sometimes several $1,000s to the MSRP of certain vehicles, especially those in very high demand with long waiting periods. Although market adjustment fees are becoming less and less common as the car shortage continues to improve, they can definitely still be found in certain regions. So if you do encounter a dealership that's charging a markup, try to negotiate it out of the price, or just shop around until you find another dealership that's not charging one in the first place. And next up at number 9, we have a very common dealer fee, which is the administration fee, also known as the documentation or processing fee. Admin or doc fees are not hard to find at dealers, and they can charge anywhere from a few $100s to upwards of $900 for this fee. But even though these fees are quite common, and we're even starting to see some manufacturers add them to their websites as well, they're certainly not universally found across the board, and they're not mandatory at every single dealership. So if you shop around enough, you could find a dealership that doesn't charge any kind of an admin or a doc fee. And next up at number 8, we have the cash markup. Now, a cash markup is basically a profit markup that some dealers might charge if you want to buy a car in cash over financing. Now, the reason why some dealers might do this is because oftentimes dealers make more money on the sale when you finance the car instead of paying cash. So having a cash markup is a way of encouraging you to finance the car through them. And some dealers might not even give you the option of paying cash whatsoever, and might require you to finance the car as part of the purchase. Now, anytime a dealership is doing this, make sure all this information is disclosed in the advertising. Any dealership that doesn't disclose this information might be breaking the law. And speaking of the law, it's important to understand your rights as a consumer when shopping for a vehicle, including your right to all-in price advertising. OMVIC, Ontario's vehicle sales regulator, is responsible for enforcing all-in price advertising with dealerships in Ontario. What this means is that when you're shopping for a vehicle in Ontario, the advertised price by a dealership needs to include everything, all fees and charges, except for your sales tax and licensing. So what this means is that if a dealership in Ontario is attempting to add additional fees and add-ons to the price of a vehicle that weren't already included in the advertised price, the dealership might be breaking the law. This is also the case in some other provinces, and even the Federal Trade Commission in the United States is looking at introducing some form of all-in price advertising with dealerships across the US, which would be great to see. But in the meantime, if you're from Ontario, you do have rights. So to learn more about all-in price advertising and your rights as a consumer, make sure to visit the OMVIC website. All the information can be found in the description box below. And now let's move on to the next dealer fee to watch out for, which is the anti-theft, also known as the etching or security protection fee. Anti-theft is another increasingly common fee that some dealerships are even automatically including on the price of the vehicle. They can charge anywhere from a few $100s to as much as $900. Now, it's debatable how valuable or useful this anti-theft protection really is, but at the end of the day, it really should be an optional product as opposed to a mandatory add-on. So if you don't want to pay for anti-theft, just shop around until you can find a dealership that's not going to charge it to you. And the same is also true of the next dealer fee, which is the road hazard, wheel and tire protection, and key fob protection. It seems that some dealers really like their protection products, and it's not hard to see why when you learn how much money they're making on a lot of these add-on products. I've even seen some contracts where some dealers are charging over $2,000 for wheel and tire protection and road hazard, which is pretty unbelievable. Now again, it's really debatable how effective or valuable these protection products really are, especially when a lot of them have all kinds of exclusions, including tire damage or tire punctures or curb rash, which are often the most common types of damage that you're likely to encounter with your wheels. So if you feel that this product is not worth the money, then try to negotiate it out of the deal or try to find another dealership that's not going to charge it in the first place. And now moving on to the next dealer fee, which is another protection product, which is rust protection. When it comes to rust protection, I've seen some dealerships charge as much as $2,500 for this. And sometimes it's not even a traditional oil spray rust protection. It can sometimes be an electronic module, which you can actually find on Amazon for less than $200. Now, it's debatable how effective this product really is, but in any case, I really can't see how it makes sense to pay up to $2,500 for this at the dealer when you can buy it online for less than $200. Or better yet, you can use a well-proven oil spray product from a third-party company for a very similar low price. It just goes to show you how much money sometimes dealerships are making on these products. So if you encounter a dealership that's requiring you to buy rust protection, make sure to do some research or maybe shop somewhere else. But we're not quite done with protection products quite yet, because we still have the next one on the list, which is interior and exterior paint protection. This is another dealer add-on where I've seen some dealerships charge over $2,000 for. And like many of these add-on products, I've seen some dealerships that charge them with little to no explanation to the consumer. Now, interior or exterior protection might be something that you're interested in getting for your vehicle, but it shouldn't be a mandatory charge, and you shouldn't feel pressured to pay for it at the dealership. You should have the ability to shop around, do a little bit of research, and see whether you really want to buy the dealer product, or whether you might want to buy a better quality product somewhere else, which might be another option. And protection products are not the only dealer products that you shouldn't feel pressured to pay for. Another one is number 3 on the list, which is extended warranty plans. Now, when it comes to extended warranty plans, I actually do think that they make sense for certain types of buyers. For example, if you're buying a vehicle that might not have the best reputation for reliability, or if you're buying a vehicle that's known for having very high repair costs, or maybe you do a lot of driving and put a lot of wear and tear on your vehicle. These are all situations where you might actually get value out of an extended warranty plan. In any case, an extended warranty plan should be your choice and it should be optional. It certainly shouldn't be a mandatory charge or something that you feel pressured to buy. And if that's the case, you might want to shop somewhere else. And that brings us to number 2 on the list, which is lease protection. Now, much like extended warranties, lease protection is something that I think makes sense for certain buyers. Basically, lease protection is kind of like a get out of jail free card, covering some of the wear and tear and damage that you might encounter when you return a vehicle at the end of a lease that you would otherwise have to pay out of pocket. Normally, lease protection can be anywhere from $800 to $1,200. So if you see a dealership that's charging a lot more than this, then you might want to negotiate a lower price or just pass on it altogether. Which brings us to the final fee on this list, which is certification fees. A certification fee is basically a fee to safety a vehicle before it's sold, which is sometimes found on used vehicles. Now, in my mind, anytime a dealership is selling a used vehicle, the cost of certification should already be built into the price. And indeed, unless that vehicle is being sold in as-is, unfit condition, the dealership needs to include certification in the price. Otherwise, they might be violating all-in price advertising. Now, it's important to understand how significant these charges can be when you're shopping for a vehicle and what kind of impact it can have. So let's take a look at an example so that you can be aware when you shop for a vehicle in the future. So this is a price quote which a consumer shared with me, and if we look at the price breakdown, we can see that this vehicle has a selling price of $34,645. And on top of that, we have a long list of dealer add-ons which the consumer claimed were mandatory charges by the dealer which they were not able to remove from the price. This includes a rust module for $2,500, road hazard plus for $2,400, a prepaid package for $425, anti-theft for $499, and an extended warranty plan for over $3,300, all of which add up to over $9,000, or roughly just over 25% of the vehicle's purchase price, which is pretty ridiculous. If the consumer had purchased this vehicle, not only would they have overpaid, but they would have quickly put themselves in a position of negative equity, where the value of the vehicle is a lot lower than what they owe, which financially is a really dangerous thing to be in. Which is why it's so important to take your time, do a lot of research, and only buy a car when you're 100% ready. And never feel pressure to sign any paperwork at the dealership right on the spot. Always take your time, and anytime a dealership tries to pressure you to sign paperwork without properly reading or properly understanding what you have in front of you, just walk away and buy the car from somewhere else. So let me know what you thought of this video, and if you have any suggestions for any future car videos, just leave a comment below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you need additional car buying advice, recommendations, or help with getting a great deal on your next new car purchase, make sure to check out carhelpcan.com. Thanks so much for watching, and see you next time.